It was just really uncomfortable. And I was like, it's uncomfortable because Auntie Janelle was looking over her shoulder and watching her son, Quinton, every 5 minutes. She was making sure she knew where Quinton was in that house at all times. She wasn't losing track of her boy, okay? So that's why it was uncomfortable, okay? Because there was somebody watching over him, protecting him. Okay, being territorial on him, covering him. Okay, so anyway. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandy Yvonne. Here at my channel, y'all already know we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. It's Friday night, so of course, we gotta talk about OWN's Ready to Love Down to Dallas, y'all. This is season 8, episode 11, titled Meet the Family. Before we get into it, y'all, thank y'all for continuing to subscribe to the channel. I really need you to subscribe to help this channel to grow. We can keep putting out the good content over here, help the algorithm, okay? I'm definitely trying to grow this channel, so I appreciate all of your wonderful support. Also, like the video, okay? Help us out over here. Share the video where you like to share your content, and comment down below. Let me know what y'all thought of this episode. This episode, I mean, we had a little bit of movement, but it wasn't really giving what needed to be gave. I'm tired on a Friday night. Plus, I didn't got my Friday night started, okay? So we're gonna get through this video, okay? So, episode basically picks up with the men in the gentleman's lounge. So, actually, before I get into the episode, let's quickly talk about, did y'all watch the live interview that Crystal XO did on YouTube with Chris? So, Chris came back. She had already interviewed Chris earlier in the season, but Chris came back, I guess, to talk about last season's episode when he cursed Jessica out down to the restaurant, right? So Chris was doing his apology tour. Now, Jessica had already interviewed with Crystal. I didn't watch all of Jessica's interview. I watched bits and pieces of it, okay? She didn't really directly answer any questions, okay? And Jessica, to me, in my opinion, does give a little bit mean girl tease. She gives mean girl tease. So I'm not going to fully say she's combative, but there's some tease in there, okay? It's adjacent. It might be combative adjacent. Anyway, she definitely know how to cut you, okay? She cuts in a different way that Janelle cuts. I'm going to say it like that. Anywho, Maurier, okay, no, not Maurier. Chris was on the interview, right? And he's explaining his stuff. I guess Maurier was down in the chat because Chris was trying to say, well, Maurier could have said a different word and all this stuff. So then they let Maurier get on the live. Y'all, the way them two men was arguing back and forth, trying to pull up screenshots and receipts. I was like, what is this? They are arguing down to the YouTube. I was going to make a separate video about this, but I'm going to just throw it in here because it's more exciting than the episode was tonight. But did y'all see how they was going back and forth? And then Tequila, I guess she was messaging Crystal XO because she already did her interview in the beginning, remember? And I did watch that interview. She didn't prove nothing. So anyway, she gonna send a screenshot of what she said to Maurier about him moving on to other people because he talking to all the other ladies but her. And she basically showed in the screenshot exactly what he said that she said. So they proved nothing on her side, just proved that's what was said. So everybody's trying to prove receipts, and they were proving what was said. So none of it makes sense. It was a hot, chaotic mess. But the way them two men was fighting and fussing and arguing, I was cracking up. I was like, is this for real? And Ray was like, little boy, you on here lying? I was like, he called him a little boy? They was going back and forth. Chris was like, oh, you don't call me a little boy? And they was doing, y'all gotta watch the interview. It was a mess. It was a whole hot mess. But anyway, back to the episode. Like I said, the men were in the gentleman's lounge with Nephew Tommy. This is probably the last lounge we're gonna see. It's the 3 men. Nephew Tommy just called him the 3-something. Anyway, it's Maurier, Phil, and Quinton, right? So, Nephew Tommy says you're going to take the ladies out, introduce them to your family. Your family is going to tell you what you need to be doing, okay? Now, disclaimer. Everybody, all 3 men, introduced the ladies to their cousins or aunties, their cousins and them. Where was people's mamas and daddies? some siblings. Everybody cousin. Everybody close to their cousins. I mean, I get it, but I was like, where? I mean, the only one I was like, okay, Quinton, he seems really close to Daris. But everybody else, I was like, what is happening? But they did seem close to their cousins. I just thought it was interesting that it was all cousins. And why we couldn't, well, never mind. I was gonna say why we couldn't get 4 couples. Child, we barely got 3, so let me not even say that. Anywho, then, okay, so the first date that we see is, oh, and then nephew Tommy did say a lady was getting eliminated tonight. I was like, dang, another elimination? Oh, I can't wait to get to the reunion. I feel like with the reunion is when we gonna get all the true tea for real. I feel like my camera's really off. And my stuff is kicking in, so I gotta hurry up. Anywho, so the first day we get to is Quinton is introducing Lee to his cousin Daris. Hey, Daris. You know, Lee comes in with her yellow dress on. She's looking cute. And so she said that she used to run track. She's born and raised in Dallas. And so she said that she doesn't feel like, well, he asked what she likes to do it for fun. She likes to do the zip line and the ATV. She likes to be adventurous, have a good time. Okay. And she feels like her and Quinton connected on those things initially, and they both liked how each other was looking down to the mansion. Remember the first day at the mixer? He was like, you should have saw that red dress Lee had on. And so she said she doesn't feel like they got to connect much more in the process because, you know, he been booed up with Janelle. And then she thought they would have a chance in the house, but then he wasn't really doing nothing in the house but all up on Janelle. And so he was like, yeah, the house it was really uncomfortable to try to, you know, make time to connect with you. You know, I apologize for that. It was just really uncomfortable. And I was like, it was uncomfortable because Auntie Janelle was looking over her shoulder and watching her son, Quinton, every 5 minutes. She was making sure she knew where Quinton was in that house at all times. She wasn't losing track of her boy, okay? So that's why it was uncomfortable, okay? Because there was somebody watching over him, protecting him, okay, being territorial on him, covering him, okay. So anyway, so Lee's thing is like, you know, Quinton hasn't really been putting in effort. She don't really know how it's gonna be, and so you know, they connect over their physical fitness and all that stuff, and he likes that Lee is, you know, very nice and sweet and passionate, and Daris likes Lee for Quinton, okay? I don't think they was really talking about nothing else, y'all. So next day we see is Aries is meeting Phil's family, his auntie Tammy and his cousin Jonita, I think was the name. They go out to a restaurant. Aries come through, and so they're like, oh, you're so beautiful, all that. Okay, so Phil says he likes the fact that Aries, you know, is beautiful, kind-hearted, sweet, compassionate lady. He could see her kindness inside now, okay? They asked what she like about him, and she said she likes, you know, that he's, you know, really a nice guy. He's very caring, the way he's been, you know, intentional with her through the process, all that kind of stuff, y'all. And so she said they really connected about they're both losing their fathers, and I didn't realize they kind of had that little trauma bond going on, but she said she really can learn a lot from him because she just lost her dad in August, and he, you know, lost his dad a little less recently, so she could really learn from him, okay? And so they asked her, does she have any concerns? She says she is concerned about his, like, security and stability because she has 2 kids, and she want to make sure everything is straight. And so Phil is like, okay, she keep bringing up the whole security and stability thing, and he don't really know what's that about. You know, they really liked Aries. It was all good. And so she left. And so they asked about, like, they said they really like her. They think it could work out. But they were like, how do you feel about her bringing up the stability thing? And he said he don't really understand. Like, he thinks, like, maybe it's not something to do with him. He don't know why she keep bringing it up. Like, he's good. Oh, and he did explain it. Let me backtrack before I forget. He did explain the reason why he had to reshift and reinvent himself is because, you know, he was out there on the road trying to make money. That was really working out. He needed to come home, make some money, get stable, and also to spend more time with his son. But he's like, y'all keep talking amongst yourself, okay? So that's what Phil had going on. Y'all let me know, is Phil dusty? Is Phil broke? Because I'm like, why are they painting this narrative like Phil is broke? But Phil has explained himself over and over again. And I feel like, as horrible as this cast and this show has been this season down to Dallas, I feel like Phil has been one of the most, at least most authentic person. Like, Phil seems like a regular guy looking for love. He don't look like he's selling us nothing. Is it just me? Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about Phil. Is he broke or is he regular? Like, what's happening? Like, I don't see what's the problem. As long as he got a good job now and he can take care of his family, like, what is the problem? You know, now if he broke, he ain't got it, then that's a whole nother discussion we need to have, y'all. So anyway, Phil was saying, like, you know, if it's a thing where, you know, he ain't trying to be an a-hole or nothing, but, you know, if she ain't with it, like, basically he don't want to, you know, it's going to be her loss, not his, basically what he said. He said, Phil said he know he'll catch you. Y'all ain't going to play him for nothing less than. I said, I know that's right, Phil. So anywho, then I think the next day we saw was, let's get to Maurier. So Maurier went out with Jessica and Kat. They showed the dates back to back with his cousin, his oldest cousin. Her name was, and I want to say it was Anquetta. It wasn't Antoinette, okay? It was like what was her name? Is it Anklet? It wasn't Anklet. What was her name? Was it Anquanette? It's Anquanette. I think it was Anquanette. Now, at one point in the confessional, this is why I got confused with her name and I kept reading it to get it right. Because Jessica in the confessional called that lady Arnett. Did y'all hear her call that lady Arnett in the confessional? She called that lady Arnett, okay? So I was like, what is this lady name? But he said they call her Net, so we're going to call her Net. And I was like, Anquanette, because, little quick side story. Me and my sister it was more my sister's friend. I met her to my sister, this girl named Antoinette. And this guy that used to hang out with them as well, he would say her name, like, real emphasized. He would be like, Antoinette. And so every time I see her, I'll be like, Antoinette. You know, we would drag it out. So then when I seen Anquanette on the screen, I was like, Anquanette. But anyway, you had to be there. I was just like, what is the lady name? So anyway, she came on a date with her braces and her outfits. Let me stop. So they were showing the days back to back. Let's talk about Jessica. I feel like Cousin Net liked, now Cousin Net was cracking me up, by the way. I liked Net. Net, I think, liked Kat more than Jessica. I think Kat had more of a warm, welcoming vibe than Jessica. And I'm not saying Jessica is not warm or welcoming or trying to put a narrative on her that they didn't already put. I just think that the lady felt more open with Kat, okay? That's how it came across. The energy was different on the screen for me. She let Jessica know real quick, like, you know, first of all, let me tell you, you know, we real protective over our cousins. Like, you really in this, you gotta be in this. And if you do something wrong, we gonna all come for you. We gonna let you know, okay? And so, then they're talking about the whole, I forgot if they were getting on the topic of kids, and Jessica does want to have kids, and she used to want to have 4, and then she mentioned something about her niece and her sister, and then somehow they got on the topic of reading signs. I guess Maurier, we were doing astrology a little bit, because, you know, he was playing with the tarot cards, and he said that, because she said they look good together. That's what happened. She said they look real cute together, which they do. I ain't gonna take nothing from Maurier. Him and Jessica do look cute together. And so he was like, oh yeah, see, I told you, both Tauruses right here. And I said, no, they not both Tauruses. Because do y'all say Taurus or Taurus? Anyway, y'all know I'm a Taurus. Okay, April 26th. And when I found out that Maurier and Jessica, especially Jessica, was a Taurus too, I was like, dang it. Y'all's making us have a bad reputation, okay? And I think Katie from Miami is a Taurus as well. And I'm like, all the problematic people are ready to love our Tauruses and avatars. And I start questioning me and my personality, like, am I coming across like these people? Like, I know I could be blunt sometimes, but am I coming across like that? Like I'm doing all of that? Oh yeah, somebody let me know in the comments, okay? So anywho, but yeah, you know, she really liked Jessica. That she said Maurier and the cousin said Jessica reminded them of Maurier's mom in a lot of ways. And so the cousin felt like Jessica could be a good match, but then she wants to have more kids. But then Kat, she could take or lead the kids. Now let's go to Kat's date. Kat, they asked Kat about the whole spirituality thing, and Kat says she's the same way. She's open and into spirituality. She's wanting to learn about all of it. And so the lady's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, you are so pretty. You're amazing. Da, da, da. And so, she said, Kat asked, you know, is Maurier ready for love? And she said, he's past ready. He gonna do, like, you do your part, Maurier gonna do his part and show up and show out. Okay. And then the topic of kids came up, and she said, you know, Maurier already has a kid. He can care less if he has more. You know how Kat feels, she could take or leave a kid. So the cousin felt like maybe Kat could be a better match, but then Maurier's torn because he's already built with Jessica. So it's like, you know, being with somebody you already been with, but then exploring this new thing. He's trying to figure it out, okay? Nephew told me later on, said he in a love triangle. I said, I guess. So anywho, then we get down to Quinton's date with Janelle. And so Quinton is introducing his cousin Daris to Janelle. Janelle come with them sleeves tied up. She gonna wear a dress that got the ties and the sleeves, and she don't wear nothing else, okay? So then she's like, we got Jim Lester's out. And so she asked Daris where was he from. He said he's from Atlanta, but he moved to Dallas, and Quinton kind of followed him to Dallas. Daris takes all of Quinton's pictures. He does all his photo shoots. He's talking about next one might be some engagement photos. She was like, sipping her drink. Okay. And so, you know, Daris asked the usual questions like, you know, how did you and Quinton connect? And they said how, you know, they've both been real genuine with each other through the process, and in the house they got to know each other a lot more. And Quinton was looking at her with them lovey-dovey eyes, and she's like, oh, you looking at me with lovey-dovey eyes? And he was like, I always look at you like this. She's like, no, it feels like it's more right now. And Quinton wants to have a family, and Daris asked about Janelle's timeline with that. She said that she does want to have a family. She definitely wants to adopt. You know, she does know there's age difference. She's 41. You know, he's like 34. And she said, but she still wants to, you know, build a life with somebody, whether that's a business, family. But if he gonna be taking his time, you know, she can't promise she could pop out a baby at 41 years old, because, you know, by the time they get married and have kids, it's gonna be a little later. So if he gonna be too slow, you know, kids ain't happening over there, you know. And so Quinton, you know, he's worried about that, because even though, you know, he knows she wants to adopt, but he does want to have his own biological kids. And he said in the confessional he wished that Janelle was a little bit younger. Quinton is playing in our faces, okay? Anyway, I guess the question was asked, like, what Quinton needs, and Daris said that he needs, you know, someone who can be, like, peaceful, and he said something about, like, softer side to kind of, like, support him and that kind of thing, and be peaceful and all that. And I was like, that show ain't Janelle. Whoever he describing is not Janelle. Nah. So then Quinton was like, "Dang, you said that perfectly." And so she said she feel like she struggled with that, especially with the work-life balance thing, but she's trying to get better. And Quinton's like, "Yeah, I can't believe you said you struggle with that, because I feel like you've been doing so well with it." To me, he said it very sarcastically. I don't know, he didn't mean to say it like that, but it came out sarcastic to me. I couldn't even take it seriously. And so, you know, he's worried about the kid thing. Daris said he would choose Janelle over Lee, because the way he was looking at Janelle was like, you my woman already. I guess Daris. So anywho, then we get a date with Phil and Aries. They go ride the bikes, okay, in the park. And so then they sit down, they talk about the date with the family, and he said the family really liked her and all that good stuff. And so Aries brings up the whole, Phil noticed that Aries been pulling back a little bit, and Aries brings up the whole thing with the stability and thing, and she said, well, she first asked him what he needed in a partner, right? And he said someone who's there for him, pays attention to what's going on in his life, brings peace to his life and compassion. And Aries does all those things. He want to go down to the comedy show, to the concerts. You know, it don't take a lot for Phil. And so she was like, oh, see, I'm the opposite right there because, you know, I do that stuff with my friends. But when it comes to a partner, I need loyalty and stability. And so, and that has been an issue that was lacking in the past. And so Phil was like, oh, here we go again with the stability thing. He feel like she mean money. And so he feels like, okay, he's tired of hearing this. And he's realizing like the issue she's having with stability is not because of him. It's because of something in the past that has happened. And so he was like, okay, is that why you be pulling back sometimes? And she was like, yeah, because I feel like, okay, I need to think with my head and not be looking at the smile. Of course, we have this natural attraction to each other, and we definitely have feelings for each other, but I need to make sure I'm being smart and all that stuff. And so Phil said in his confessional, like, he don't appreciate that Aries is pulling away when things like that come up, because he's like, if you gonna pull away just because something come up, then you could go on and go away. Phil sang Fantasia said, if you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Go ahead to someone else, okay? So Phil told her too in that moment that, like, you know, he don't like the fact that she's pulling away like that, okay? And Aries like, girl, what you want at this point, girl? Like, what do you want? Because to me, I ain't gonna say Phil the best man. I don't know all the details. Hopefully he wasn't the one doing DoorDash. I think we all agreed that that was Maurier allegedly. But Maurier told me on Twitter he had businesses, so I don't know. I don't know. Phil said he done reinvented himself. It looked like next week he said he was a comedian at one point. So I don't know. Like, Phil, I don't know. If he got a good stable job right now, Aries, and he is building towards something, girl, then I don't see what's the problem. But if he ain't, like, is he not going to work every day? Like, what is happening? Like, what is the tea? Because there's something we missing that Aries is seeing that we are not seeing. I'm like, what's true tea? But anyway, Phil's over it, okay? He's tired of feeling like he ain't got it together when he do. And he let us know that one day that he was like an insurance claims person, like an adjuster or something. Didn't he say that? I don't know. Anywho, I ain't got time to worry about that. So next day we see is Lee and Quinton. They go down to the batting cages. Lee can't hit a ball to save her life because she was not a baseball girl. He had to show her how to play the ball. She said, you know, they was getting a little close, but she didn't, you know, do it on purpose. She truly couldn't play, and we could see that, girl. You didn't have the skills. But it's okay. I ain't played softball so long. I don't know if I could hit a ball either, y'all. But I would definitely act like I couldn't because I get a demonstration. Anywho, they sat down. They asked about. She talked about the, you know, how did Daris feel about her. He's like, oh, he thought you were stunning and all this stuff. And she was like, well, I hope you think so. He's like, yeah, I always thought you were beautiful, you know, even from the mansion. And she's like, well, you know, you didn't really keep up your connection with me, like, what happened? And he was like, yeah, with Janelle, we initially had a physical connection. It just was easier. And he did apologize for Lee for not really putting in the effort with her. And he said he wants to try to, you know, he still likes her. He still thinks about her. He wants to try to make it right. He said that, you know, Lee and Janelle were the two most genuine people in the house. And he's glad that he's connected with both of them. He still thinks that she's dope. And he said it's surprisingly, she would be surprised to believe that they have a lot in common. And I said, Quinton, what do Lee and Janelle have in common? Oh, wait. What the hell do Lee and Janelle have in common? I don't see that. Let me know if y'all see it in the comments. I don't see it. So Lee don't see it either. She was like, we talking about some sugar and some spice. Like, in the confessional, she was like, you know, you talking about like, you know, sour and sweet. Like, she was like, we both black women, that's it. And I said, that's it. So, Lee was like, I don't see it. And so he was like, yeah, you'd be surprised. And he said, you know, even though my connection with Chanel is much deeper, I still have feelings for you. I still got love for you. I still think about you. And I still want to see, you know, see this through to the end with you. And so Lee was like, yeah, you frustrate me. Lee in her confessional says she don't buy it. She let us know at the top of the episode too. She'll know how this week gonna go for her because Chris left and she was starting a connection with him, and then Quinton playing with Janelle, so she don't know how things gonna go. Right here in the confessional with the date with Quinton. I'm wondering if she shot that confessional when they did the reunion. I'm really wondering about that. Just because of the way she looked. I wouldn't be surprised if she has a similar look. Because I know sometimes they be shooting last minute confessionals down to the reunion date. A lot of castmates have said. So anywho, and the way her hair was whipped up and stuff. So anywho, she said that, you know, she feel like she can't really trust what Quinton is saying. Like, you know, she don't want to feel like she's in second place. It's too late to be starting new connections. So she got a lot to think about and figure out in this moment. Then the last date we see is Maurier and Jessica go on a date. And Maurier had on his nice clothes. Maurier started stepping it up with his fashions towards the end. Okay, he was giving it the best that he got. So they met up and he said, you know, I know you had a connection with Chris and he recently got eliminated. How are you feeling about that? She said, you know, she is okay with it. She's glad, you know, he's gone. And she said, you know, they went on a date and he cursed her out. And they showed the clip where he was like, F you, F everything about you. And so she was like, yeah, he cussed me out and he was totally disrespectful. She's like, I didn't come on here expecting to be disrespected like that. And Chris was dead wrong. And he didn't fully take accountability in that interview. Y'all gotta watch the interview. It was a hot mess. So anywho, my mouth was all wide open during parts of that interview. I was like, they was really going at it. So Maurier was like, see, you know, that tells you right there, the cat's out the bag. Who said it? Like, Maurier said he want to clear his name, okay? And so he was like, but you know I was the one that said it anyway. And she was like, no, I know. And he was like, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how you feeling about me and you? She said -0. And then she's like, no, I'm playing. I feel like there's a little truth in that. Okay, it's a little truth in every joke, a little truth in that. And so she's like, no, I feel like we're working towards a 10. And I really don't have any hang-ups or hiccups with you. Like, I feel like if there's anything we haven't, you know, we can't work through right now. And I'm like, what? Because earlier in the date, when I forgot to mention, when they were talking about the whole astrology of it all with the cousin, with Nat, with cousin Nat, and when Nat was telling her, like, you know, you don't knock it till try it may be the thing you looking for. It ain't. Jessica said her confessional, like, you know, she don't know about all this stuff that Maurier is into. Like, I need to know, like, what God is you praying to? Is the same God as me? Like, who are you talking to? So clearly the spirituality thing is an issue with you, Jessica, and you mentioned it down to the X dates. So, and you mentioned it in your confessional, but yet sitting in Maurier's face, you're saying there's no issue except for the fact that he does want to move to Africa because you don't want to move to Africa. So that's the only thing y'all may need to work on. So I'm like, what about the spirituality of it all, Jessica? Like, there's definitely giving Jessica, Janelle, Maurier, and Quinton all had a pact to get to the end, okay? And they're going to cut and slice and dice everybody out that they had to all make it to the end. Because Jessica don't want to be with no Maurier if he ain't believing in Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, okay? So you over here saying one thing in the confessional, but saying another thing in person. You playing, Jessica. You playing, and it's fine. Anywho, they said they're going to be good. And, okay, girl. We'll see who make it to the end. Maurier's still not sure who he gonna pick between Kat and Jessica. We get down to the gentleman's lounge finally, and the men come in, and so next time I ask about the dates, Phil says better than them ex dates. And so Maurier talks about his dates with both Kat and Jessica. He said the cousin was leaning towards Jessica, but she was leaning towards Kat. And every time he said he in a love triangle, Maurier don't know who he gonna choose. Then they talked to Phil about his day with Aries, and he talked about how Aries keeps bringing up the whole financial stability thing and how that's an issue that she's having because her dad died and whatever situation in the past, and it's not his issue. But I'm glad Phil can, you know, see it and not project it on himself, whatever Aries is feeling, if it's not truly him, okay? And so then Quinton talked about, you know, how his cousin was feeling Lee for him because they are very much the same. But then he was feeling Janelle more, and he doesn't know who's going to choose between the two of them. On every time he said, hold up, hold up, hold up, Lee came down over here to meet with me, And she said that through the process, you've been, spending more time with Janelle and connecting with Janelle more. So before we got to the gentleman's lounge, Lee had met with nephew Tommy real quick, and she said she just want to get some clarity about some stuff. She said, through the process, she connected with Quinton right away, but then he was spending all his time with Janelle, and then she thought in the house they would be able to connect more, but then he still was all up in Janelle's face, and they couldn't really connect more because Janelle was there. And at this point, she doesn't feel, like she doesn't want to feel like the man is not really going for her. She wants to feel like special and like he's really after her. She don't want to feel in second place. And so they didn't show the whole thing. So first I thought it was my Philo TV app. So I wouldn't watch the episode down to the YouTube because Philo kept cutting out all the parts because I was missing parts with the Jessica and Maurier and the astrology and all that. So I said, let me watch it on YouTube to see, because sometimes Philo, they be skipping the show, especially with Ready to Love for some reason. So I watched it on YouTube. And so then I got all the bits and pieces. And so I guess they did cut exactly what Lee said, though. It looked like from that with the editing. Let me know if it edited the same way for y'all. And so then in the gentleman's lounge where nephew Tommy was telling Quinton, then they flashed and showed everything that Lee said and said that she felt it was best to remove herself from the process. So she self-eliminated. I said, good for you, Lee. Finally, somebody self-eliminate, okay? And so, I did hear that they were not letting people self-eliminate this season because I'm sure everybody would have self-eliminated because they needed to, okay? They was playing. So, when nephew Tommy told Quinton, like, she didn't want to feel like she was in second place. I feel like nephew Tommy was so ready to tell Quinton that. And was it just me or did Quinton look very devastated when nephew Tommy told him that? To me, he looked so devastated in the face. And so then, nephew Tommy said we wish her the best, but, she in her love journey, but she felt like she needed to do that for herself. And so nephew Tommy said no one's getting eliminated today. Maurier was happy because he still had his 2 connections he had to decide on. So nephew Tommy said next week, I guess the women are going to introduce them to their family and they're going to decide. He said you got to make a wise decision. You got to figure it out. Maurier got to in his confessional, he got to figure out which decision he's going to be making. Quinton was disappointed that Lee eliminated because he said he did have a connection with her and he wanted to see the process to the end, but she got to do what's best for her. Phil said he wants to figure out what he could do to ease Aries' mind. When it comes to Quinton, I feel like Quinton is playing in our faces. Okay. I think that Quinton played himself a little bit. This is why I say that. Because I think to an extent he liked Janelle, okay? I think Janelle was a challenge and a conquest for him because everybody was liking Janelle. So I feel like he wanted to show, like, let me show I can get Janelle, okay? Let me show I can be the top dog here. He also really did like Lee and connected with Lee, but I feel like he might have felt like Lee was a little too good for him or something. Like he was kind of playing it safe with Janelle. And I'm not saying Janelle is safe. I'm not trying to down Janelle. I'm not trying to say he couldn't really like Janelle or nothing like that. But I just feel like he's playing a game. And then now that Lee's self-eliminated, I think he kind of felt like, dang, like, okay, I shouldn't have been playing. Because you could have been with Lee. Or you could have occupied both of them. And I think it got too far. I think it got too far with Janelle more than he wanted it to get. I don't think he intended for Janelle to take up all his time like that, and he didn't know how to get out of it because he's scared of that lady. And I think he did have intentions on spreading his time out with Lee, but then he never got a chance to. Now, does he seem like he genuinely likes Janelle on the show? Yes. I think he likes the challenge of it. I think he might have some mama issues. But I definitely think that on a regular day, he would have went with Lee over Janelle. And I'm not saying that based on looks or anything, because Janelle is a very pretty lady as well, minus her ugly spirit, okay? I just think he played himself. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I guess we got one more. Next week, we're going to finally get the theme song. Then the next 2 episodes is the reunion. I hope they don't make us take any breaks, because I got trips coming up in the beginning of October. And I want to get these reunions out the way. We'll probably go live for the reunion, so look out for that notification. Tomorrow night, we got Love and Marriage Huntsville coming back. I did want to go live for the first episode, but I probably will not because I have something to do tomorrow. I'm not going to even be able to watch the episode live, so I don't even know when I'll be able to watch it. Maybe Sunday. So anyway, but I do want to do more lives for Love and Marriage Huntsville this season. So look out for notifications for that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.